If we look at one of the biggest levers that we can pull to get change happening at pace, which is what we need to do, is taking collective action, finding people who are passionate within a certain group, and in particular in sectors, and seeing, well, how can we actually move this forward together as a team? And so the Better Building Working Group was one of the examples that came out of the first summit. Afterwards there was a meeting at Alchemy with a whole lot of people who are really interested in what was happening in the building ecosystem, and they could see that there was, how do we make that sector more sustainable? And there were real challenges. Some of them came because they were absolutely and utterly sick of the waste that they were seeing in it. Some of them are coming because of from a climate perspective, going, housing is one of the opportunities we have to look at embodied energy and become energy efficient. Others were really concerned about mental health, and there were other concerns. So it was working with that group and looking through this lens of a framework around sustainable development and saying, what are our priorities? And then saying, we have these shared values together. We can see that this is our framework that we want to use. We want to go towards the system of giving back more than we're taking. How can we get there? And then you backcast, and then it was a matter of setting out priorities over time to try to achieve zero waste building sites, to try to achieve sector where, in particular, suicide prevention, around reducing the number of suicides and mental health problems within that industry. What can we do to help that? How can we help with the climate crisis to ensure that we're using buildings in a really effective manner? And that collective group and that diversity around the table, and the ability to have not only industry leaders such as builders, but you also had suppliers, you also had passionate individuals and consumers who were building houses, and you had the council who were there as well with that regulatory hat saying what is possible and what's not possible and where we need to lobby. And when you get that diversity around the table and you're nutting out a problem or a challenge, you actually can get something that's really workable and looking at it in little steps. So it's taken a while to actually get momentum within that group and to actually do that soil work so that it's got to the point now where it's starting to grow. But we're having 100 tradies come along to a tradie breakfast to learn about zero waste building sites. You've got a number of builders coming and wanting to talk about their journey through mental health and be leaders and be advocates for this. And you've got this huge movement around passive homes and it becoming almost mainstream around when you build, you need to build energy efficient homes, and you need to know what is the life cycle of that building and what are we putting into our homes. And then it goes bit by bit and more in detail about what can be done and how you can solve the problems. That movement and that creation, it was all possible because of collective intelligence.